Okay. Well, hi guys. Good evening. So it's 9:01. So I know people always jump on a few minutes late. So let me just go through a couple of announcements. Do I see Mackenzie? Sorry. Hi. Hi, friend. I love it. I love to see your face. I feel like I need to squeeze you. Anyways, I missed you guys so much. I wish you guys were with us this weekend, but we just got home. We got home last night from our team retreat over the weekend, and I feel like today I have been like, I'm coming out of the haze finally after like the eighth large Yeti glass of water. I finally feel like the brain fog is lifting. Yes. And for some reason, I decided that family pictures were a great idea this week. So I just came back from the mall because I was buying all of the things. I like bought every color of everything. And I'm like, all right, we'll figure this out. So anyway, so I am just sitting down, getting the kids in bed, and I'm excited for tonight's call. We have one of our elite coaches on the call this evening. So Kelly Guy actually put this presentation together for her team. And then she shared it in one of our group message threads. And I was like, wow, that's an amazing, that's an amazing presentation. I was like, you have to share that with the big team. And so she so graciously is giving her time this evening. And hold on, I just sucked my bar down my throat. Hold on. Dying. 1 second. Oh my God, I'm a disaster, guys. Anyways, so one of the things that I know for coaches that you guys really struggle with is coming up with content, right? And knowing the difference between like posting just to kind of document your day versus like actually beginning to tell stories and to really take like the concepts of Beachbody and turn them into just stories that really make an impact. And so it's kind of a skill that happens with practice, and it doesn't happen overnight. And if I go back to some of my very first posts that I ever did, I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Like I was so bad at posting. And there wasn't any depth in the stuff that I was coming up with. And so the really good part about this call tonight is Kelly's going to really walk you through the two sides of it to really show you like, hey, this is what you should avoid. And then here's a really great way to turn this into like a really good piece of content. So I'm going to turn it over to Kelly because I'm dying and it's time to kick things off. So let's get this party started. Sorry to everybody that's on right now and it's like, what is going on? I will do some announcements here at the end. All right, Kelly, let me see. Can you unmute? And you should be able to share your screen too.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry about that introduction. That was awful.
Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Good. Okay. Awesome. So thank you so much for having me on. Never did I think this would turn into a big team call, but I'm glad, and I hope that it helps somebody because I know this was something that I struggled with for a super long time. And I think when I finally made that shift is when a lot of things started happening in my business. And so hopefully it can help you guys too. And anybody who has like questions along the way, or if you have input to give, I know there's a lot of coaches that I learned from on here. So like, please just like jump in and stop me at any time. So I am Kelly Guy. For those of you guys who don't know me, I live in West Lafayette, Indiana with my husband and my two is 5 and Graham is 2, and my husband is putting them to bed. And my husband just decided to become an active coach himself. And so I'm finding myself going through this whole phase again of like reteaching not just my coaches, but like on a personal level to him too, on how to add more depth to your posting. And so every day when he goes to post, he's like, read this. I'm like, okay, don't just tell people what you're doing, tell them why you're doing it. And so I really want to walk you guys through some examples today and show you. So let me see if I can share my screen here. Okay. Can you guys, let's see. Okay. Can you guys see that, or is this little taskbar in the way over there? I can't see anyone. Let me minimize this. Okay. We good?
It looks good.
Okay, awesome. All right, so crafting your post to connect with your audience and not sell to them. And I think that that is just a really big thing because I don't know about you guys, but whenever I was starting out it was like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to start coaching, because what if people think that I am a salesman? And I did not want to come across like that. I had these visions of like my friends were going to stop talking to me, and it was just a really, really scary thing. So I know that that's the fear that a lot of people have when they start on my team as well. So let's see here. Okay, so our goal is to impact others through sharing our journey, not selling a product. So if you don't want to feel like an icky salesman, then don't sell a product. Just share what you're doing along the way. We know the products work. We know that we can, be proof that it's going well. So just use that and show people. You don't have to be perfect. And I think that was a big thing for me whenever I started, was feeling like I had to be perfect in everything I did. Like I couldn't eat the pizza or drink the beer. I couldn't, talk about my bad days. And so I really want you guys to know that you have to share the whole journey along the way, but you have to be positive too. Nobody wants to follow someone who isn't going to be an inspiration out there. So spin it to win it. And then share every aspect of your life. You want to connect with people. It's not just the workouts and shakes. It's not just the sweaty selfies. You have to become a storyteller. So I kind of look at these 5 images here below, and I think like, okay, what do I want people to know about me when they watch my story or they come in and they connect? So, yes, I do drink the shakes. You can see the picture there. It's the shakes. It's got both of my little kids, grabbing their glass of Daily Sunshine. It's more than just the photo of me with my Shakeology glass like it was years ago. I want them to see, obviously, like I'm a wife. Me and my husband, we do this together. I have 2 kids. I love pizza and beer. I'm never going to give that up. And I'm a dog mom too, through and through. So what do you want people to see whenever they come to your page, and how are they going to connect with you on a personal level? So don't just tell people what you're doing. Tell them why. Some tips that I, always try to run through in my head is, getting creative with your pictures, not just the regular old selfie. We'll go through some of that. Using good lighting, which, oh my goodness, you should see my photos whenever I started. Trying different angles, like I said, instead of the same thing over and over. Getting creative with your background and being sure to post-edit your photos. Not having to spend a ton of time on things, but really just putting a little bit of effort into it to make it look more professional, because this is your business ultimately. So if you kind of look at the top versus the bottom, it's just a way to make things look a little bit different. And so like in my challenge groups, when I'm just sharing something really quick with people and I'm not like putting it out to the world, that's more of the stuff you're probably going to see. It's the stuff that you started, whenever you started as a coach, you maybe knew, like, that's the first thing you sort of think of. And it's not to say that it's not good, like you're showing up and you're trying, but how do we improve ourselves to get better? So like the food picture, like, you look at that. I use paper plates all the time because who wants to wash dishes, but it's not very appealing to the eye. It's my clean, healthy tacos, but it just doesn't look that great. And so if you buy a clean white plate, you use that, you plate your food on that, even if the rest of your family's isn't on it, and you get good lighting and you add a little something that's your personal touch into the background, it tells a whole different story. People love watching me for my dog. And so I put him in the background of my food, and suddenly it gets a lot more traction. The second one with fitness, instead of just your sweaty selfies, try new moves out. Set your camera to record on video and then scroll through and screenshot one where you got your image. Use the lighting, post-process. The performance line, same thing, different angle, fitness, and the Shakeology as well, making sure we're not showing just us with the branded bottle, but getting creative with how we can actually show that. So the first one, I kind of broke it down into different categories so you can be thinking as you do your posts on, okay, I post my Shakeology, how do I share it? So first, some tips, think about becoming an expert on what we have to offer, because it is your job to know about the product, to be able to share it appropriately and to be able to follow up the conversations afterwards. So when I was starting, and I still do this sometimes, is I make a list of why I love it and the benefits that I've seen, so that I have talking points to continue on those conversations with, but also to be posting about different things instead of the same thing over and over. Never saying product names, figure out what you want to call it, superfood shake, mom fuel, whatever it is for you, and use that so people can't just go and Google it and buy it on their own, because we know the issue with that is that they're not getting the support. I drank Shakeology in the past. I ordered it off an infomercial. I had no clue that coaching was a thing. I tried it. I hated it. I didn't get results. Me and my husband put Oreos in the blender, and guess what? I didn't get results, and I didn't have a coach, and we stopped. And then years later, I came back. I found a coach. I had the groups, and now I've been with it for 5 years. And so it just makes all the difference in the world. And we want people to leave with a good taste, literally and figuratively, in their mouth. Offering the value and understanding, what you're sharing. So I kind of gave some just surface level posts on what to avoid. So, here you see my branded bottle. My lighting is terrible. I say, just drank my Shakeology. Love how great it makes me feel. It's filled with so much goodness. Now on to the rest of my day. And so I want you guys, if you are a coach who's out there posting like this right now, like, don't get disheartened. Don't think that you're doing bad. Like, this is how we start. And I still, to this day, I do inventory and I go through and I self-audit my stuff and I say, how could I improve this? You're sharing what you're doing. You're saying it makes you feel good, but how can you tell someone more? And how can you connect with the person like you who needs you? So instead, I put it in a clear glass. You go outside, you do a different pose, and you try something new. So here I say, when you're a mom on the run and you can find something that gives you the tiniest bit of sanity, this little glass right here is my lifesaver. And I talk about how it helps me. And instantly, instead of just saying, hey, I'm drinking a shake, look at me, it turns into, I'm a busy mom. These are the things that I struggled with. This is how it's helping me. And I'm connecting with a whole new audience on a whole new level. And they're starting to think, oh, it's not just, oh, good for Kelly, but, oh my God, that might help me too. I sound just like that. So I'll give you guys the slides on here. I won't read through all of them because some of my posts, those of you who know me know my posts get long-winded. And so I want you guys to also know as we go through these, it's not to intend that it has to be a long post to be impactful. It can be very short too, and you can tweak the words, but I just happen to never be able to stop typing. So a lot of them you'll see they're long. But okay, then we move on to the performance line. So, we're more than shakes, we're more than workouts, and that was something really hard for me to grasp from the beginning because just learning about Shakeology was hard for me. I wasn't confident sharing it, and so it took me a while to branch out into other things, but the sooner you can do it, the better. It helps your business, it helps your volume, and so it's our job to know that and to give people guidance. If you use these products, then you know that they're helpful. It took me 2 years of coaching to try the performance line, and now I've been using it every single day since because I love it. And so I now view it as I don't feel bad for offering it to other people. I used to think, oh gosh, well, they're already spending $160 on a challenge pack. I don't want to ask them to do something else and make them feel like I'm trying to just get more money from them. But really, what is going to help them? Dig a little deeper, ask them questions. How can you help them get the best results? And so this could be their thing. Use your own lingo so we're not, telling them what the product is, and then get creative with your photos. Just because we're taking our photos in your dark basement or, I get up at 5 o'clock and I work out and it's dark, it doesn't mean you have to keep a dark, grainy, boring photo. You can take it elsewhere and save it for later. So, typical example here. Not sure how I worked out without this before. I love Energize so much. So I'm showing the product. I'm using the name. It's pretty boring. It's bad lighting. People are just going to, if they're truly interested, which probably wouldn't be from this post, they would just go Google Beachbody Performance Energize and they would buy it on their own. Because I know for me personally, like I wouldn't have been brave enough to reach out to my coach on my own. She reached out to me. And so a lot of people are like that. They're going to need you to reach out. Otherwise, they're going to find it on their own. So make them come to you. Here, again, I sneak my dog in there. I have it in a different glass. And I say, when it's Friday, the sun is shining and your best bud is beside you. I use a different name. I don't say Energize. And then I sneak in a little something at the end talking about I'm helping a girl overcoming her fear, committing to 100 workouts with her new VA group. She's going to totally kick ass and become her best self. So not only are they wondering, what is she drinking? Like, what is that? But also, oh, she just helped somebody get results. She's running in a group and they're getting a little bit more. So their curiosity is piqued a bit more. Fitness. Don't just tell people what you did, tell them why. And I think that this was a really hard one for me to grasp. It was like I just wanted to show people that I did my workout. But it becomes sort of if you post and you can ask yourself, like, is this sort of a so what post, or is this a how can I connect with people? Like, I don't want people to say, oh, they're good for Kelly, she worked out again in the morning, and scroll on by. I want them to say, oh my God, I struggled the same way she's saying that she did. Maybe I can do that too. And so if you share the struggle you had and you share the solution that you have to it, get creative with it, people are going to come to you. And it takes time. It takes consistency of you showing up. So if you're new, don't feel like if people aren't knocking on your door, that's okay. They still may never. I still have to search people down all the time. But when you stay consistent, they're going to gain that trust from you. So instead of just, cardio meltdown done, no excuses on the weekend, we wanted to stay in bed, but, I'm not making excuses anymore. Great. They're hearing that I did my workout. They're hearing that we're glad that we didn't make excuses anymore. And it's not to say that that's bad, but how can you make it more? How can it become not a so what? Okay, good for Kelly post. So switch it up. Give them something different instead of the same angle of my face all the time. I'm showing them in this photo like, okay, I took my weights. I went outside. Before the weather got too cool for me because I can't handle cold, we worked out on the patio every morning this summer. And so that was a big part of us working out that people saw. And I talk in here about how I remember when Saturday mornings were for recovering from the night before, how I was slow moving and tired, and that now, even though I'm older, I'm making time for myself despite being busy with kids, feeling better, and people can connect with that. So again, I'll share these slides with you guys so you have something to look at if you want to look at the actual wording later. But just changing up the post. And so we worked out in the morning. It was 5 o'clock, and we would turn on our string lights. And so it was horribly dark outside, but I would go outside later in the day, take a couple pictures, save them, and use them for the next morning. So that was another big struggle for me, was thinking that all of my posts had to be real time. Or I felt like I was being inauthentic, but that's not the case. You can just get a little creative and know that you can kind of stockpile some photos to use for later. So coaching, this was a big one for me. I know that there's a lot of people on my team too, just really terrified to talk about the coaching opportunity because I don't know why. It's just scarier for some reason for a lot of us, but I think a lot of us don't feel qualified to talk about it because maybe we're new or we don't have this big team of our own. But I'm here to tell you the only way you're going to get that team is to talk about the team that you want, even though you may not have it yet, and act like you have that team and show the confidence and show the excitement. And that's the only way that you're going to draw those people to you. So you have to get out of your comfort zone. It's going to grow your team. It's going to grow the ability for you to make a bigger impact with more people and grow your income as a result. So I sat down and I made a list of all the ways that coaching was helping me, from the teeny tiny things to the bigger things that I had at the time, why I loved it, why I decided to do it, why I continued despite the struggles. And then every day when I sat down to share that, I could look at a reason that I was doing it and pick one of those to make a post off of. And I know another big one is that people feel like they don't go on the big vacations, or they may not be going to leadership, or you may not go on those retreats yet. But the small wins are really, really big, guys. And if you think about how you started when you were a coach, you may have been initially drawn in by the retreat photos like I was, or something else, but what you really connected with was probably the small wins along the way. And so those are things that people need to see, and you can't discredit the fact that you may be paying for your groceries or paying for your kids to go, to soccer or whatever it may be. That is something big that another mom or someone out there needs to hear. And showing that community. Everyone has the community to share, so you may not have the biggest paycheck, but you have a team, and you have this team here, like an amazing one to be a part of, so share that and use it to your advantage. Use other coaches as traction too. Talk about what your friends have accomplished. It doesn't just have to be about you. And don't forget the income disclaimer, of course. So here, oh God, this picture. Love how coaching is helping my family. Never thought I'd be doing this. Grateful every day. Have you been interested? Okay, at least I'm talking about it, but surface level, right? So here, showing the community in my photos, showing the different ways that I get to work, that I'm laying out in the backyard with Jake, that I'm going on trips with friends that I've made from this community and this opportunity. A big one that I that I would make the mistake of doing too, with starting not just with coaching posts, but quotes are often so inspirational that I would want to just share a picture of that quote. But when you find a quote that you like, don't just share the screenshot of the Google photo that you found, the stock photo. Take the quote and put it at the top like I did. A flower does not think of competing to the flower next to it. It just blooms. So instead of just sharing those words, I put that, and I gave a little bit of a description on why that quote was important to me. And I shared the picture of us girls from my retreat this year. That was my first retreat that I held with my girls. And so, get creative. Don't just share the stockpile stuff. Be sure to show you behind it. Transformations, a big one. So I really thought from the beginning on transformations that people would get tired of seeing this. And I know that those are scary ones to share in the first place, so you probably don't want to feel like you want to share them every week, but it's big. And you can share so many different types of transformations. It doesn't just have to be physical. For me, it was a huge part was mental. Like when I started this whole coaching journey, I was in I've always been such a positive person, but at that particular time in my life, I was returning to work full time. I work as a vet tech in radiology at the hospital. And I was just in a negative headspace after returning back after maternity leave. And this opportunity gave me so much. And so you'll see me sharing about the mental transformations and, maybe the financial transformations too. Like talk about that new person that you've gained in the process. Don't just give the stats and ask for a pat on the back, not, hey guys, I lost 10 pounds. Do you want to lose 10 pounds too? Share how you got there. Share how hard it was. Share why you stuck with it and how the community kept you going. Being bold like that is really going to be helpful. And if you find yourself being really scared about posting, like you guys know through coaching, personal development is huge. Mental transformation is huge. We tell our challengers all the time that they have to do the hard, scary things and they have to focus on the good. And we have to do the same thing. And so if you switch your mindset just the tiniest bit and you can say, instead of, oh my God, I'm posting this and I'm going to go into work tomorrow at the hospital and this clinician and that surgeon and this person is going to see my transformation and they're going to look at me tomorrow and they're going to judge me. Instead of thinking about those horrible things that could go wrong, think about the one person you're going to inspire. Think about the one person like you that needed to hear that and only focus on them. Get laser focused on seeing the very good in that situation and blocking out the negative. And when you train your brain to do that, like your business will become fire because now I just don't care what other people think. And as a chronic people pleaser, I care what people think, but I don't let it affect my ability to help somebody now. And so you have to always be thinking in that mindset so that you can stay committed to it. So, with the transformations, nothing wrong with the photo and sharing the transformation here, but, if you look at the text, and this is not accurate, I just typed this up here. That was not from one round of the 21-day fix. But this was after I had Kinsley. It was my first transformation when I started. And if you just say like, hey, I finished the 21-day fix, I dropped 5 pounds. Number one, I'm saying the product name. I'm telling people what to go Google and buy. And I'm just sort of saying, hey, yay for me, I did this. If you switch it, oh my God, guys, that picture, like, what am I scowling about? Like, what is happening? But, here I say I never intended to be the one sharing the transformation photos because I truly didn't. I thought I was going to show up, get some results, and leave, and I fell in love with the community. And so I share that over and over and over now, and I've become a professional storyteller in that story and all my other ones, just like you. Someone have a question? So really, like, getting vulnerable and sharing your pictures and talking not just about the pounds, not just about the inches, but like who you became along the way. And I always think about when I'm talking, I post to talk to two different versions of me. The old me you see on the left and what she needed to hear and how she was struggling. And then also to the new me on the right and the people who may be like me. Now, maybe people have results, but they just need the community and the other aspect of it too. So I'm always kind of talking to the old me and the new me in my post to try to find those people that can really relate with me. And then these, just thinking about turning your regular everyday posts that don't necessarily have value into something more. And I do definitely still just share random photos. I love to share my family. So you'll see me putting some of that. Every post does not have to be Beachbody, guys, and it shouldn't be. But if you need something, and if you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to post today, like take your everyday stuff and turn it into something good. Allow people into your life and let them connect with you. So, like this, if I took this picture on a weekend of my daughter Kinsley and I said, hey, took the kids to get ice cream today. It was so much fun. Love summertime. That's a perfectly fine thing to put up there. And maybe I'll put, something like that from time to time. But if I want to make it a little more, or maybe you need to invite to something, like how can you just tweak the words just a little bit to make it something about what you do? Life is sweet. Love little day dates with these two. So I went part-time in my job a little over a year ago. I was full-time there for 11 years. And so I went part-time. So now I work 4 hours every day and I do coaching the rest of the time. And it's been the biggest blessing for our family. I'm so happy to have more time with these two little ones. And so I talk about that a lot. So I talk about, Thursdays used to just be a regular day until I found my tribe. Now it's payday. And I'm blown away that something, that I love can lead to me spoiling my family without guilt. So still people can be liking that photo because they like Kinsley eating ice cream, but it's a surefire way that I'm going to be able to send them a message and follow up with them and be like, hey, thanks so much for the love on my post with Kinsley eating ice cream. We had such a blast yesterday. This opportunity has done so much for my family. Like, I know you're a mom like me. It's been the biggest blessing for us. Have you ever been interested in what I do? And suddenly this tiny little image of her eating ice cream can become a way to connect with other moms who want to take their kids to little ice cream dates in the middle of the day. So never discredit the simple moments and how you can connect from those. That's probably how I connect with the most of my people. A picture here. Can't wait to go to the wedding with my hubby. Happy weekend. Or I could talk about, everything you do. Make sure it lights your soul on fire. Talking about our relationship, talking about how my career brings me, satisfaction, and just going a little bit deeper so people still see we're going to that wedding, but I'm sneaking in coaching in the background. Whenever I do the photos or like the big call outs, they just have never worked well for me. If I'm like, drop an emoji below, like no one will interact on those for me. So if I just get a little sneaky about just the tiniest hint of something about what I do in the background, people will like it. And then I have an easy way to connect with them for something. So that kind of goes into the inviting. So, you can send a personal invite, still do that regularly. I set a goal for myself to do every day. You can do the call outs in a post, but those don't work as well for me personally. Or you can be strategic, put out those non-Beachbody posts and figure out a way with who is liking that, what are they liking it for, and how can you connect with them and form that relationship that will later lead into an invite. I talked already about, talking to the new you and the old you, really building people's confidence up, giving them, letting them know like you think they would be amazing at what you do as a coach, or you think they would be such an amazing addition with their personality to the group, and giving them love so they feel encouraged to join you and what you have to offer. And don't feel bad for what you have to offer people. I mean, I used to feel so scared inviting people to this. And then I stopped and I just said, like, get over yourself, Kelly. Like, you would not be this person if you hadn't received that invite. So don't keep it from other people. Like, you can change somebody's life. I made him take this photo just because I needed an example. So, who's going to be the next lucky person to join our group? I'm giving away some of these. Who's working on goals with us, right? Or you can do a picture. They see my team shirt. They're wondering what's in my glass. I'm talking about what if I didn't give up? What if I'm stronger than I think? What if I went all in? And I'm just making people think a little bit about, could they do what I do? And then just a couple tips and tricks. So finding a fun background. Oh my gosh, if you guys find like a fun background, stop and take a picture. We were heading to eat at Summit, and I was like, oh my God, Jake, take my picture. This wall's cute. He's like, right here? I was like, yes. And if you're going to be a coach, I'm going to do it to you too. So you'll get so much more comfortable with it as you go. Have fun with it. cheap trick, buy that small plate, have things that are aesthetically pleasing. It goes a long way. It doesn't have to be fancy or expensive or over the top. I have my white plate. I take it out to our sunroom. It's like a room full of, it's like glass ceiling, windows everywhere, and I have a white desk out there. I set my food out there. I snap my picture on it, and I go back in and I eat with my family. So it's something that it takes like 2 more seconds, but it makes it look so much better. Investing in your business, good lighting really does go a long way. I got so tired of looking at my photos of my brown carpet with my brown couch with my ugly yellow walls that I painted the walls, and we got the ring light, and I got to tell you, like it really did go a long way. We started going outside to take photos and realized it didn't have to be in real time, and so that really helped. Snapseed, the app, is the one that I use the most. I know there's tons of them out there, but a tiny little bit of post-processing really goes a long way. And then just remembering that you're going to fail forward. Like the stuff that I did when I started, like I see it in my memories, and it served its purpose because I use it for things like this now, but it makes me cringe. But you got to be proud of the person that started in the first place and the person who showed up every single day. I'm sure what I'm posting now I'm going to cringe at next year, and we just keep getting better with practice. So take pride in what you're putting out there for people to see. It is a business, so you don't have to be perfect all the time. You don't have to have perfect hair and makeup. You can be you, but you can also take a little bit of time to make it look a little bit more branded towards you, and be a little bit more appealing. And always, always, always have fun. So let me see. There's some stuff in the chat bar that I missed, but let me know, like hop on, like what tricks do you guys use, or what do you guys feel like some of your struggles are right now? Okay, I'm reading this. Melanie choking on her beach bar. Lighting, yes, you guys love lighting. I know, and it's not really that expensive, and it really, I think, like the investment just goes such a long way. So I know a couple of my girls have recently invested in that. So it's fun to just kind of grow your business and have fun with it. But all right, that's all I have for you guys. I hope it was helpful.
So Kelly, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How did you get over the fear of inviting?
You know what? I don't have a great answer, but I can vividly remember I was sitting upstairs on my bed, and you weren't my coach at the time, but my coach at the time was like, send a voice message to people. And I was like, what? I do not want to do that. What if I mess up? I can't like retype, but I was the chronic like type a response, backspace, rethink it. And it just like changed my business. I can remember like I was sweating and I did like 5 voice messages in a row. And then at that point I was like, forget it. Like I'm wasting so much time thinking about stuff when I could just be helping people. Like this is ridiculous. And I just think like I just changed my mindset and thought like, quit focusing on the negative. It's what you're preaching as a coach. So don't do it to yourself. Focus on the good that can happen and just get everything else out of there and just focus on how you're going to do good, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. You just don't think about it. And the only way you get better at it is by putting yourself out there and just doing it.
Yeah.
And you just have to realize like, you're not going to die. Nothing bad's going to happen. Not everybody's going to say yes. Not everybody's going to respond, and that's okay. But you just never know who's on the other side of that computer screen that really needs a message and that could be just waiting for you to reach out, and it could totally make their day. So you do have to just push yourself through it. And then somebody else said they're really bad at coming up with content. Do you have any just additional tips for how you brainstorm content at the beginning of the week, or how you decide what you're going to post? Do you kind of wing it every day, or do you have a plan that you kind of follow?
Yeah, so I have, like my husband bought me this and it's been like the biggest help. It just has like Monday through Sunday. I go through at the beginning of the week and I'm like, I take way too many photos. Like I love taking pictures. I almost went into photography and I went into vet tech instead. And it's just, I always am taking photos. So on Sunday I sit down, I go through my camera feed and I pick out some of my favorites. Or if I take it, one of the kids when we're at the playground and I love it, like I'll favorite it and then I'll go into that file and I'll just pick out, you know, like 10 for the week, and I will usually craft my post based on my picture. That works the easiest for my mind. If I write a post and then try to find a picture to match, it doesn't work well with my brain. So for me, I find the picture and I can instantly think of what I want to write. But I usually will come up with, like, I'll use this guide here and I'll say, like, okay, like I want to talk about like 2 really big fitness things, and coaching, you know, this many, and nutrition this many, and then I'll kind of find the picture and then write post crafted off of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I always, like on Sunday, I'll have a rough draft. I don't always stick to it, but at least I have the ideas in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of me too. I'm kind of the same way. Do you post once a day?
I do twice a day. A lot, like it kind of varies on how busy I am, but I usually do like one in the morning and then another one in the evening. But sometimes my evening one is just kind of the family or something kind of random. But there's not a lot of method to my madness. It's sort of all over the place.
But it works. It works. But invites, like the inviting is where it's at. The posts really draw people in, but the invites is where you really make it happen. So yeah. All right. So this was awesome. This was a really great call. There was lots of good content. Practice. Don't be afraid to practice. Don't be afraid to, and honestly, go back and look at your own content too. I think the only way that we all got better was through just reflecting on what we were doing and asking other people to take a look at what we were doing and really refining that. So guys, don't worry about being perfect. Just start putting yourself out there, and I promise you that you will learn as you go. But the worst thing you can do is do nothing, right? So it is, so we're gonna let you guys go, right? We'll get the slides, we'll post them in the team page so that you guys can have them. You can refer back to them. If you have any additional questions, we can continue the conversation. But Kelly, thank you so much for giving us your time tonight. We so appreciate it. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful evening. I will see you guys back here next Monday night. Let's go out there and crush it and make it an awesome week. All right, take care. Bye, everybody.